We are going through part 2 of your express workout, and you don't need a whole lot of equipment today. You're going to want a mat. You can utilize a Pilates ring if you have one. Otherwise, you can grab a towel. That will be helpful. Grab some water, and we are ready to go. All right, so we are going to start out seated in a nice seated position. And what I want you to do is, if you have that ring, I want you to reach your arms out nice and long in front of you. And what I want you to do is squeeze onto that ring using your back muscles, using those big muscles, the lats. They're a big part of your core. All right, so if you don't have a ring, you can still reach those arms out and activate right between those shoulder blades. Pretend like you're squeezing onto something. So from there, what you're gonna do is you're gonna round across the back of the shoulder blades and reach away with that ring. Then we're going to sit up tall and stack the spine and retract those shoulder blades, draw them down, squeeze the ring. Good. Again, round, reach away, look up, stack the spine, drop the shoulders, squeeze the ring. One more time, round, and then draw it back, drop those shoulders, give it a little squeeze, keep holding. Now really engaging into that pelvic floor, creating more length through the spine. We're going to hinge forward and lift. Keep extending that space between the hip bones and the rib cage, dropping the shoulders and squeezing into that ring. So this is seated spine stabilization. It's a lot of work if you're doing it correctly. All right, a little bit more squeeze, pull those shoulders down. You should feel that pelvic floor turned on and release it. Nice. So set the ring down if you've got it. Bring your feet in, knees bent, and we're gonna just roll it back. You can reach those arms out. Go nice and slow and articulate one vertebrae at a time. Then reach those arms and legs out nice and long. So we're doing some abdominal work today with that ring. And what you're gonna find if you're using a ring is that the ring helps to teach you stabilization and which muscles that you're engaging. Go ahead and bend those feet. If you've got the ring, place it between the inner thighs. However, it can make it a little bit more challenging because you have resistance, but it almost makes it easier because it teaches you which muscles to connect with. So we're going to do that. We're going to place the ring between the inner thighs. Again, if you don't have a ring, you can still engage into those muscles. You just have to create your own resistance. So what I want you to do is give it a nice deep breath, hands on top of the hip bones, and squeeze into that ring, but more from the lower abdominals than from the inner thighs. We're not making a thigh master out of it, ladies. Go ahead and release. Although I will say that Suzanne Summers and Jane Fonda were some of my greatest inspiration as a teenager. All right, so again, squeeze into that ring, engage deep into that pelvic floor. Think Kegel's exercises. Think like you're on a long road trip and you really gotta go, but you're holding it. And go ahead and release it. All right, very nice. Now take the ring into your hands and reach away just like you did when you were seated. We'll even do a little rounding away, reach through those shoulders, and then pull those shoulder blades back. Drop them to the mat and squeeze between the shoulder blades. Nice work. All right, so there is your ribcage stabilization. Now we're gonna work into pelvic floor along with ribcage. Bring your knees bent into a tabletop position. Reach those arms back overhead, making about a 45-degree angle. What you're gonna do is you're gonna lift up and over and try to tap your shins. Now, you can bend the knees a little bit more if you wanna get a little more lift into it. We could extend those legs straight up and reach for the toes, or we can extend those legs down and continue to reach, but make sure you can stabilize through your low back. And give me about 4 more. And 3, remember you're working your back muscles, squeezing into that ring, we're creating that resistance. Last 1, bring it in. Very nice. So now the next one, I want you to place that ring between the ankles, and we're gonna take on a Pilates position, meaning you're turning your heels together, toes apart. It's called external rotation. So I'm squeezing into that ring, activating through the thighs, and as soon as I do that, the lower abdominals engage. So if you've got the flexibility, you can keep the legs straight. Not so much, keep the tailbone anchored, bend at the knees. If you need to come here, come here. All right, so our legs are nice and straight. And this time, I'm gonna reach my arms out long at my sides, and I wanna pretend that I'm dragging my hands through water. Lots of resistance. Reaching past the hips, lifting, and then reaching long for your sides, out stretching those arms. Curl it, reach it away. Curl it, reach long through the limbs. Squeeze into that ring. Give it just 2 more after this. Use the breath. Deep exhale, contracting tighter with those abdominals. Knit the ribs together as you lift here. Keep reaching, hold. Squeeze tighter into that ring. Legs activated. Pelvic floor, back muscles, limbs reaching. And release. Whew, very nice. All right. Utilizing that ring just a little bit more. We're gonna do one more exercise. This time I want you to reach the ring nice and long through the fingertips, squeezing through the shoulder blades. Again, you can do this with just your arms and create that resistance. This time, legs straight up, heels together, toes apart. I want to bring it here or lifted, depending on if you feel any tension in your neck. And we're gonna open and close the legs, pointing the toes to open, flexing to come together, right? So a little bit of fine motor skill, making that mind-body connection with the point and the flex, a little bit more challenge. So if it's just enough just to move those legs today and maintain, then that's where you're at. If you'd like, you can lower the legs a little bit further, but don't lose the low back. Now, we're gonna make it a little bit more challenging. We're gonna lift and we're gonna bend those elbows and squeeze into that ring. Lower those legs. And again, open and close. If you need to, bring it here. If you need to, bend the limbs. All right. Lifting into that curl, squeezing those shoulder blades. Last 3. I know it's getting intense. Last 2 and last 1. Good work. Bring it down. Set the ring to the side. A little bit of bridge work. So we're gonna leave that ring out on this set and bring your heels nice and close to your butt. I want you to just keep those hips down and reach the arms nice and long at your sides. Tilt through your pelvis and lift, peeling the spine off the mat and lifting the hips to the ceiling. As high as you can come with those hips. We're working all these little muscles that run along the spine. They're called the multifidus. You're engaging into those glutes. You're working the abdominals, thighs, working here. Great exercise. So from here, stay lifted. Keep your thighs parallel and extend your right leg nice and long. Stage 1. If you're feeling good here, let's lower and lift that right leg. So there's your second progression. If you're still doing good, little friend joining us for our workout once again, pointing and flexing. Pointing and flexing, keeping those hips lifted. That's probably the most important part. Give it 2 more, pointing and flexing and pointing and flexing. Bend the knee, set that foot down. Let's go ahead and take a break. If you want to keep those hips lifted, you can, and really think about squeezing through those inner thighs, but I'm going to go ahead and roll it down. So I'm tucking through that pelvis in 1 vertebrae at a time, making contact with the mat, till the last thing to release is this pelvic tilt, and just bringing it back to neutral. Good. So I'm going to do the other side. So again, tilt through the pelvis, lift up, peel the spine off the mat. That's articulating through the spine. It's going to help to create movement. We don't want the spine to be stuck. That's where pain comes in. So we want to remain pain-free. So thighs are parallel. Lift that opposite leg off and reach it long. Reach, extend, tighten through the thigh. Now, if you're feeling good there, confident, lower and lift that leg. Remember, you can stay right where you're at. Lower and lift. Add the point and flex if you can, but lift those hips high. Pointing, flexing. That flex is going to help get some stretch through the back of the thigh as you extend those legs up. Looking good. Let's give this 4 more. And 3. And 2. And 1. Good. Bend the knee, set it down, tuck, tilt through that pelvis, make contact with the mat. 1 vertebrae at a time, all the while relaxing through that neck and shoulders. Release that tension. Last thing to release is that pelvic tilt. Good work. Reach those arms nice and long overhead, lengthening. And then come up and over your body. Lifting, lifting, lifting. And ending sitting really nice and tall. Good. Take that ring into hand. I'm going to turn facing forward so you guys can see what I'm doing here. Take the ring in hand or reach out with the arms. We're going to do a little bit of a work through the obliques. So what I want you to do, actually go ahead and bend the knees here. Bring those feet flat on the mat. What we're gonna do is we're gonna keep the spine nice and straight, and we're gonna turn and rotate and bring that ring and see if we can tap it to the mat. And then we're gonna lift and straighten the spine and come straight forward and lifting up and forward with that ring, just like we did before in that beginning stretch. This time, let's actually round it back a little bit and then turn and rotate, tap that ring to the side, and then reach it up and forward. So, side, reach it up. I'm gonna turn back to the side so you can see how this looks. So we're reaching up and forward, tilt through the pelvis, round it back, turn and rotate, and lift, and round it back, rotate, and lift. So I'm squeezing onto that ring, and I'm engaging into my back muscles as I work. Let's give it one more each side. Tap that ring. You can also do this with a medicine ball. You can do it with a weight. The ring is very effective to activate the lats. You're not going to get that exercise from anything else, not from a weight, certainly. All right, so sitting nice and tall, let's just do a little bit of rolling like a ball. So you're going to grasp the hand in the back of the thighs, round through the spine, just roll back. Should feel nice and good. It should feel like a little bit of a massage for the spine. If it doesn't feel good, I want you to just stay right here, hugging the knees into chest, and just take a little bit of rock side to side. So from here, we're gonna go ahead and swing those legs and come back to seated. And then we're gonna straighten the legs. And then reaching those arms long. Now this time, we're not gonna utilize a ring, we're gonna reach. So everybody, even if you were using that ring, now you have to work to engage into those muscles. So we're reaching long, and we're gonna open those arms out to the side, really wide, so you're reaching for both sides of the room. Activate these muscles all the way through the arm. Reaching, we're creating longer muscle fibers, so we want length. We don't want tension and gripping. We want length, reaching, elongation, stabilization. Reach long with those limbs, activate, pull down through the armpit, through those shoulder blades. Now, turn and rotate to your left. Good. Drop the shoulders. Keep reaching. Reach forward in front of you. Reach back behind you. Now, engaging into the abdominals through your right side. Initiate that movement, turning back to center. Good. Now, this time, we're going to turn and rotate to the right side. You're going to pull from that left oblique. So you're reaching again, outstretched with those arms. Sit tall. Engage from that left side to pull yourself back to center. Lift taller, we're gonna do it again. Turn and rotate. So we wanna create a primary mover, and our primary mover is that external oblique that's pulling you back to center. So very conscientious in our movement as you continue. Again, that prime mover, the first thing we activate is that external oblique drawing back in. So internal oblique to turn you, right? Same side as I'm turning to. External oblique engaging into that opposite side. Mind-body connection. This is what makes Pilates Pilates. Lift tall. Contrology, Joseph Pilates, who talked about it. Reach long through the arms and come back to center. It's about creating efficiency through the body. All right. Fluid movement. So sit tall. Hinge back. Place those hands back on the mat. Lift and extend through your chest and spine. And we're going to lower and lift that right leg. Lower and lift. Use that breath. Don't let your shoulders and your chest cave. We're here. Good. Just 3 more. You're going to feel those hip flexors working, but we're going to stretch them. 2 and 1. Good. Relax a moment. Really lift the chest. Drop the shoulders. Other side. Lower and lift. It doesn't have to be a high lift. We're lengthening. You're going to feel it through those hip flexors, but I want the quad activated. You're actually engaging into that pelvic floor. Just 3 more. Good form. Come on. Keep it. 3, 2, and 1, and release. Woo. Sit tall, lengthen, reach for the ceiling, and then reach forward and round over those toes. Give it a nice big stretch. You can pull those toes back if you like. You can use a ring, right? So we're here, or a towel right here. Wrap it around those toes and give it a nice stretch. All right, we are coming to a close with our workout. So express workout, you did a lot of abs, you did a lot of core, you did a lot more than you actually think. Sometimes those subtle movements are really what we need to reprogram our body, reprogram our mind. and you will have better workouts, better strength, coordination, brain function, all of these things. Super important. That's why we work out, right? It's not about just looking good. I mean, sure, that's the after effect. Our body follows suit because we feel good, we feel healthy, we feel alive. And hopefully that's why you're tuning in. All right, so let's round it back. Final stretch. Actually, we're gonna do a final exercise, engaging into the pelvic floor, working those legs again, and upper body, right? And then we'll stretch it out. So we have probably less than 5 minutes to go. Hang with me. All right, reach the arms out. So as always, we're building on the concepts we start with. We're giving you a strong foundation. That's what we want. So we're reaching away with that ring. Retract those shoulder blades, drop them to the mat and squeeze. Even without that ring, squeeze. Now, if you want more stabilization, bend those arms, bring those elbows onto the floor, okay? Still pretend like you're squeezing. So here we have more stability. You might want that stability, so we'll start here. Take that right leg extended up to the ceiling. Now, maintain the position of your hips. And we're gonna bring that leg out nice and wide, sweeping it out, and then back to center and straight up. Now, only go as far as you can without that left hip lifting. So you might wanna decrease that range of motion. So you're reaching long out of the leg, we're stirring that hip, we're actually trying to release through that joint capsule. And we're gonna reverse the direction on our circles. So engage deep into those lower abdominals. You might be able to sweep that leg out a little bit wider by providing more stabilization. But again, if that opposite hip lifts, we wanna reduce the range. You might find that it's really helpful to keep your hands on your hips. I actually really prefer to keep my hands there because I can feel those muscles engage as you're reaching that leg around in a nice big circle. Give it one more. We're gonna end this one on this side. And go ahead and bring it in. Just give it a little stretch by pulling that knee into chest. Very nice, we're almost there. Extend that other leg, reach it long. All right, extend that left leg up to the ceiling. So now, take your ring if you want, and continue on that side. If you don't have a ring, remember, you're squeezing, creating that tension. Now, if you want to make it a little more challenging, reach those arms straight up to the ceiling. Whoa, less stability. Amazing, you're just taking those elbows out. See, I actually have to decrease my range of motion on this side because I don't have my elbows for stability. So I'm gonna decrease my range and keep my other hip anchored. Because the whole point on this one was pelvic floor stabilization, rib cage stabilization. We're not worried about a huge range of motion or flexibility because we're gonna work on that next. So switch direction in a circle, sweep that leg around, lower it down. You might find that one direction you could bring the leg out wider, and one direction you had to control your range, even if you kept your arm position the same. So we're gonna finish here with 2 more circles before we go to our final stretch. Last one, and then set your ring down if you've got it. Draw the knee in, release. All right, if you are really tight and you're not as limber, keep your knee bent on this one. Extend the right leg straight up to the ceiling, placing that ring over the ball of the foot. We want to pull those toes back. Extend that left leg straight out if you can. Pulling those toes back, we talked about reciprocal inhibition a few weeks ago, which means reciprocal, opposing, right? Opposite. So we're gonna flex through the front of the thigh in order to release the back of the thigh into those hamstrings. So quads flex, hamstrings release. That's the concept. Pull those toes back, draw your shoulders down, and you can use a towel here. So I'm gonna use that towel to continue to demonstrate. Keep flexing. Your thighs should be getting tired. Keep pulling those toes back. Release it. Just bend the knee. Again, flex through the heel. Reach through that heel first. You're getting a nice stretch through those calves, especially if you're wearing high-heeled shoes, you're doing a lot of activities, running, you're not stretching, you're gonna feel it. All right, so now we're gonna bring that leg out to the side, but just like the leg circles, you wanna go as far as you can without that left hip lifting. So I'm gonna bring it back in a little bit. I'm gonna exhale and breathe deeper into my lower abdominals for stabilization. Now that I'm there, I'm gonna pull that right foot a little bit closer toward my right shoulder. and then I'm gonna release it. Now, IT band, big band of muscles here, really, really tight, common area to have issues. So we're gonna go slow as we bring that leg across the body. You can bend, you're gonna feel it, it's pretty intense. It attaches the top of that hip iliac crest and comes all the way down and connects to the back of the knee. That's its origin and insertion, which means that if this muscle is really tight, it's gonna pull on the knee and or the hip, creating, you guessed it, a lot of muscle tension, a lot of imbalances, pain essentially, and we don't want any of that. We want to be healthy, we want to be active, we want to have longevity, and flexibility essentially is going to create that longevity for us. So this is a great stretch. Just be gentle with it, bring it back to center, and release it. We have that other side to complete before you finish. All right, so place the ring or the towel across the ball of that other foot. Again, flexing those toes back. Now this side, I happen to feel a little bit more in my calf. Another key note for some of you that are not as flexible, you can bring the leg away from you. That's why we've got the towel, but I don't want you to do what I just did, was bend the knee, right? So I'd rather you're here than be here. So you're still gonna get a hamstring stretch, but it's not as deep of a stretch. We wanna flex those toes back. If you've gotta reach away, and that's the point of having that assist with the ring or the towel. So now I can really flex into that thigh, release the hamstrings. So continue to pull those toes back. I'm gonna bring my right hand to my right hip as I come into external rotation. So I'm bringing that left leg out to the side. Now I wanna find that edge where I'm engaging into the abdominals, keeping the hips straight. So I just went a little bit further. I'm gonna bring it back towards center and deeply engage into the pelvic floor. Now pull that heel a little bit closer, toes a little bit closer toward that left shoulder. Lengthening through the back of that thigh, a little bit of external rotation. And back to center, release. This one, you're definitely gonna need to extend that leg away. Bring it across the body and keeping it straight, but where I feel that tension, I'm gonna go ahead and bend the knee and continue to bring it across. So again, IT band, iliotibial. Iliac crest is the top of that hip, right? And the tibial knee. So there you go, just a little bit of anatomy today for you. Always like to teach you guys what you're working. I mean, I want to know what I'm doing and why, right? I'm not just here to build big muscles so that I can flex them. I want them to be functional. And hopefully you do too. All right, so release it. And go ahead, draw those knees in, take a little rock side to side, and then swing it back up to seated. And that completes your express workout for Wednesday. I had a couple requests. Angela, this was actually for you. Hopefully you still have your ring hanging around and you can incorporate some of these things. I will try to do some cardio work as well as perhaps maybe some more kettlebells throughout the week. So please tune in, offer suggestions, ask me questions. That's what I'm here for. This is what I do, and I love what I do. So I would absolutely love to engage with you guys a little bit more as we take on this this journey to health and fitness together. Thank you for your support, your inspiration, because this is why I do what I do.